Have you ever found yourself just swimming in a sea of new information, especially with something like educational technology? It just moves so fast. You want to get the core ideas quickly, right? Have those aha moments without feeling totally swamped. Well, if that sounds like you, you're definitely in the right place. Today, we are diving deep into educational technology. It's something that really, it touches all of us, students, teachers, even just lifelong learners curious about how we learn nowadays.
Yeah, and what's really great about the source material we're looking at today is, well, it gives us this comprehensive framework. It starts from the very basics, like what technology even means here. Then it moves through specific tools you see, in schools right now, and then it gets into the real world stuff, the challenges, the strategies for actually making it work. We're going to connect quite a few dots for you.
Exactly. Our mission today, basically give you a shortcut, help you feel genuinely well-informed about this whole field. We'll pull out the key nuggets, the surprising bits, so you can, navigate the EdTech landscape with confidence. Like, have you ever wondered if instructional technology is the same as educational technology? Are they different? Or why some online classes feel engaging and others just don't? We're definitely going to get to the bottom of that. Okay, so to really get started, we need to get our terms straight. Our sources lay out some really clear distinctions. So maybe you can kick us off. How do the sources differentiate between, say, technology broadly, then instructional tech, and then the big one, educational tech?
Yeah, good place to start. Getting this clear really helps avoid confusion later. So technology, in the broadest sense, it's basically applying scientific knowledge, tools, systems, processes to solve problems or reach goals. This covers general tech like AI or smartphones, but also information technology, the hardware, the software for handling data. It's the foundation.
Right, the basic building blocks. Okay,
Right.
But then it gets more specific in education.
Exactly. From that wide base, we narrow it down to instructional technology. Now, this is specific. It's the deliberate use of tech processes and tools designed specifically to improve teaching and, crucially, learning outcomes. Think multimedia presentations, computer tutorials, maybe even just a really well-designed digital worksheet. It's about how we teach using tech effectively.
Got it. So that's the how, and then there's the even bigger picture, educational technology.
Right. That's the broader field. Educational technology actually includes instructional technology, but it also brings in learning theories, systems thinking, even educational policy. It's much wider. Covers administration, classroom teaching, assessment, teacher training, curriculum development, the whole shebang, really. It's the strategy for using tech and learning.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the sources have this really helpful comparison table. It looks at their focus, their scope, and gives examples. So general tech might be AI, instructional tech, an element, a learning management system, or maybe those interactive whiteboards. But educational technology, that includes bigger ideas like, say, the TPACK framework. That's technological pedagogical content knowledge. It's a key model for how teachers blend subject knowledge, teaching methods, and tech effectively. What's really interesting is the source explicitly says instructional tech is a subset of educational tech. Understanding this helps educators choose the right tools and, importantly, decide how to use them.
That clicks. It's like, okay, you have a hammer, that's a tool. Then there's carpentry technique, that's instructional. And then the whole construction industry, that's the educational side. Building on that, let's talk guiding principles. The AECT, that's the Association for Educational Communications and Technology, they put out a 2023 definition. It's a bit dense, but powerful. It says, educational technology is the ethical study and application of theory, research, and practices to advance knowledge, improve learning and performance, and empower learners through strategic design, management, implementation, and evaluation. Layered of learning experiences and environments using appropriate processes and resources. Phew!
It is a mouthful, but if you connect it to the bigger picture, what's kind of revolutionary about that AECT definition isn't just how thorough it is. It really forces us to think beyond just the gadget, to the ethics involved and the whole life cycle of designing learning. It's a clear shift away from just tech for tech's sake. It's strategic, it's learner-focused, it stresses ethical study and application responsibility, fairness, that's huge. It blends theory, research, and practices, so it's academic and practical. The goals are clear. Advance knowledge, improve learning and performance, but also explicitly empower learners, give them agency.
That empowerment piece really stands out to me. And it's not just about the student's moment of learning, right? It's the whole process. The definition covers that full life cycle: strategic design, management, implementation, and evaluation. That implies real intention. And it mentions learning experiences and environments, digital, physical, both. And finally, appropriate processes and resources, tailoring things. This isn't just academic jargon, it feels like a practical roadmap. What part of that do you think maybe gets overlooked most often, or is toughest to actually do?
That's a good question. I think maybe the appropriate processes and resources part. It's really easy to get excited by a new shiny tool, and then you try to shoehorn it into every lesson instead of stopping to think, is this really the best tool for this goal? For these learners, it's about being intentional, which leads us straight into why EdTech is so important, because when it is done right, the impact can be massive. The sources highlight several key benefits. It can seriously enhance engagement. Think interactive whiteboards, gamified apps. It allows for personalized learning through adaptive systems tailoring content. That's huge. And crucially, it improves accessibility, opening up education for people in remote areas or those underserved.
You know, when I first pictured EdTech, I honestly just thought of, like, fancy gadgets in a classroom. But what you're saying about accessibility personalization that really opens things up, is there a benefit you think people maybe underestimate?
I'd probably say the boost to teacher productivity. We often focus on the student, which is right, but tech can simplify so much for teachers. Lesson planning, grading, communication, assessment things, online quizzes, data dashboards. This frees teachers up to actually focus more on individual kids and creative teaching, less on admin hassle. Plus, it supports collaboration platforms like Google Classroom, Padlet, and it promotes lifelong learning through things like MOOCs, those massive open online courses.
Okay, so the potential benefits are huge, but it's clear just having the tech isn't the answer. It's how it's used. And before we dive into the how, we have to face the reality there are hurdles, right? Implementation isn't always easy. What are the big challenges our sources mention?
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely not all smooth sailing. The sources are quite realistic here. Cost is a big one. That initial investment in hardware and software can be a major barrier for schools and districts. Then there's access, huge issue, especially in, say, rural areas. Limited internet, poor connectivity, it leaves learners behind. And training, you can have the best tech, but if teachers don't feel comfortable or skilled in using it effectively, it won't work. That's critical.
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't felt the pain of trying to learn or teach with spotty Wi-Fi? That access challenge is so real. And it doesn't stop once the tech is in the building.
Exactly. You've got ongoing maintenance updates, repairs, keeping everything running. There's also the potential for distraction. If students aren't guided on how to use tech properly, it can pull them away from learning. And finally, a really crucial one, equity. Does everyone have equal access to devices, to good internet at home? If not, tech can actually make inequality worse. These aren't small issues. They need real strategies to overcome.
Okay, so given those challenges, a big part of making it work comes down to how the learning happens. Is it live, interactive, or more self-paced? What do the sources tell us about those two main modes, synchronous versus asynchronous learning tech?
Right, let's break those down. Synchronous learning technologies, that means real-time interaction. Teacher and learners are together, virtually or physically, at the same time. The big wins here are immediate feedback, live discussions, and it's great for building community. Think Zoom, with its breakout rooms, polls, screen sharing, or Google Meet for live classes. Microsoft Teams is another big one for live collaboration. The challenge is, well, you need good, stable internet, and scheduling across time zones can be tricky.
Okay, real time. Got it. And the other side of the coin?
That's asynchronous learning technologies. These don't need everyone to be online at the same moment. Students access materials, do activities on their own schedule. This offers amazing flexibility, supports self-paced learning, really boosts accessibility. Examples: well, learning management systems like Google Classroom, posting lessons, collecting assignments, giving feedback, all done non-simultaneously. Moodle is another powerful LMS for self-paced stuff, modules, quizzes, forums. Even messaging apps like Telegram or WhatsApp get used, especially where bandwidth is low. Sharing materials, recorded audio, discussions learners can access whenever. The main drawbacks here can be delayed feedback from the instructor, and sometimes learners might feel a bit isolated without that live connection.
Right. Different tools for different needs.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how each suits different purposes. The sources mention using Zoom for, say, interactive science lessons, polls, live Q&A, maybe even virtual experiments. Really engaging. But then WhatsApp might be perfect for a revision group in a place with poor internet, letting students discuss topics when they can get online. It's about picking the right tool, knowing its strengths, and, its weaknesses too.
So it's becoming really clear that just having Zoom or Google Classroom isn't enough. Success really hinges on thoughtful strategy, mindful integration. How do the sources guide us there?
If we connect this back, it's about making sure the tech actually enhances learning, not just sits there as an add-on. The sources point to several key things for effective implementation. First, effective integration. Weaving the tech seamlessly into the curriculum, not just tacking it on. Then, digital literacy. Training for everyone, students and teachers, so they know how to leverage the tools, not just turn them on. Inclusivity is vital, making sure tools work for all students, regardless of gender, disability, location. Tech needs to close gaps, not widen them. And underpinning all of it, infrastructure. Reliable internet, enough devices for everyone. That has to be there.
That's such a critical point. It's not just about what tech, but how you use it for deeper learning. Pedagogy first, right? That sometimes gets lost when a cool new tool comes along.
Absolutely. Pedagogy has to drive the technology choice, not the other way around. The sources really emphasize strategies that leverage tech for deeper learning, like hands-on practice. Not just watching a demo, but guiding students to actually set up and use tools like Zoom or Classroom themselves, direct experience. Or collaborative learning, having students work in groups, maybe comparing synchronous and asynchronous tools, discussing pros and cons, learning from each other, and reflection. Using things like concept mapping to help students visualize the differences between technologies. It gets them thinking about how they're learning with the tech. Metacognition.
Right. So what does this all boil down to? We've really dug into the foundations of EdTech, from the definitions to the different types of tools, synchronous, asynchronous, and the crucial steps for making it actually work. It's been quite a journey through these sources.
It really has. So I think the key takeaways are, first, those technology foundations. Understanding the difference between general tech, instructional tech, and educational tech gives you a clear map. Second, synchronous and asynchronous tools both have unique strengths and weaknesses. You need thoughtful design based on what you're trying to achieve. And finally, thoughtful implementation is everything. Thinking about infrastructure, inclusion, digital skills, and critically aligning it all with solid teaching practices.
Yeah. Ultimately, what the sources keep reminding us is that technology is a tool. A powerful one, sure, but it should serve teaching and learning and not be the main focus. By understanding these ideas, you can make much smarter decisions about which tech to use and, maybe more importantly, how to weave it in effectively. So as you step away from this deep dive, maybe consider this. How might knowing these distinctions empower you? How could you advocate for better, more equitable tech use in whatever learning environments you're part of, a classroom, your workplace, even just your own learning? That's all for this deep dive. Until next time, keep digging, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions.